Good evening, everyone. This is the 4th of July version of the Mycological Association of Washington meeting, monthly meeting. My name is William Needham. I'm the president and will be the speaker for the beginning just to get us going. And obviously, since it's the 4th of July, but I couldn't resist myself. So I'm wearing blue and white, and after a while, I'll get a glass of red wine. So this is the red, white, and blue MAW meeting. So I thought red, white, and blue mushrooms would be kind of a good leitmotif for this evening. So the red was easy, white was pretty easy too, but the blue is a little tough. That's a slime mold up in the upper left, a bicolor bolete in the upper, and then of course what we call jadder, just another damn red russula, actually two of them, a pair of red russulas in the upper right, and the destroying angel, one would always know, on the left, and the puffball. The stuff in the lower is actually called green crust. It isn't really blue, but it's close, and at least it gives it that flavor. So anyway, welcome to the red, white, and blue meeting. So I'm going to talk we have a couple of special things to talk to you about tonight, but there's a few meeting notes. First of all, you see this slide every time, just a reminder of who we are. This is the board. And I note that at the bottom, many people like to send in things. If you want to send anything to any board member, if you're interested in cooking, you want to talk to John Harper, then you can send it to culinary. So it works to any one of us, or info comes to me, and I send it to whoever you want. So here's our, so far for the remainder of this year is our program. And of course, the two tonight are at the top. I'll close with them. So next month is slime mold. And then in September, we're working on this meeting now. This may be our first in-person meeting. It will be perhaps also, it will not necessarily be on a Tuesday. We'll put the information out on that soon. We're flying this guy in from out west. And so we're kind of working on that program. And then later on October, we haven't gotten November yet. And every program, at the bottom, we have our the mushroom table with Mitch Forney, which you'll see tonight for mushroom identification. So we have our board meeting at the end of this month, and and if you have anything to input to any board member, or if you would like to participate or at least sit in, you're welcome to do that. We do it on Zoom. We're working, really, our biggest task is to figure out how and what and why and what we're going to do about transitioning from virtual post-pandemic. The third bullet is the photography contest. I've mentioned that before. That is active now. And Tom McCoy, who is the program chair, who you'll be hearing from shortly, is running it, and he would like to see if there are any volunteers who would be interested in being judges. And his email is there, programs@mawdc.org, as I mentioned. Sequinota is our annual mushroom foray in Western Pennsylvania. It's going to be 10 to 12 September. Registration is now open. It's fairly limited attendance, so if you're interested, you should get registered now. Our guest mycologists are Thomas Rail and Django Grootmeyer. I guess that's right. Then, of course, we're also a member of the North American Mycological Association. Their foray is coming up next month at Snow Mountain, Colorado. I've mentioned that before. The next to last bullet is the bylaw change. I mentioned last time I didn't get an opportunity, my fault for not getting it out, mea culpa. You'll get an email with that in it sometime this month. And lastly, the scholarship program. We just started this. So I'm going to turn it over briefly to our science advisor, Dr. Megan Romberg, who's going to talk about the initiative that she's the chair of. And so Megan, if you would talk about your slides, and I'll move it when you're ready.
All right. Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Great. Hi, everyone. Yeah, we're pretty excited to start a scholarship program for MAWDC. Due to some cost savings and the generosity of several donors, we have money for a few different scholarships. So we have a new tab on the website under scholarships. Please check it out and see what we've got there. We have 3 different kinds of scholarships: Sequinota 4A, undergraduate, graduate research support, and you don't see on there some K through 12 education support. Sorry, that's my dog. And so I'm looking right now to have some people apply for all of these, and also for some help with the committee. So if you want to move it, William, I'd like to have anyone who's interested in joining the scholarship committee email me. We're looking for a few people, especially if you have any experience in research, looking at biological research grants, or if you've done some research yourself in biological sciences, and also if you have experience with K through 12 education, because those are the two that we're really going to focus on. So please email me if you're interested. It's not a whole lot of work. We'll just be reviewing the applications, and for the K through 12 scholarship and awards, kind of thinking through the logistics of what that's going to look like. All right, thanks, William.
Okay. So normally this would be fungi in the news, but since we had so much stuff, we have one more to go. I thought it would be better to change it to fungus features. And I just have two other things to note. One is our former board member, Thomas Rail, is giving a talk on the 20th of July for the Western Pennsylvania Mushroom Club. And we're honored to have our first speaker tonight is from that same club. So he is giving a talk, if you're interested, on Flammulina volutipes, enoki. I could never, Latin's not one. So if you're interested, they have a website, you can go to that. And also our board member, Matt Cohen, who's the treasurer, is going to be giving a talk tomorrow on local wild edible foods. So if you're interested in doing that, that's also accessible online by Zoom. And finally, our membership chair, Rick Silver's been involved, and also our member, Shiva Devkota, who is in Nepal, has been involved in Nepalese issues. And so I'm going to turn it over to them to talk about an issue they would like to present to you very briefly, and then we'll from that point go forward. So Rick, there is your slide.
Thank you, William, and good evening, everybody. I'm going to quickly get right to the point here. Because COVID spread over from India, I'm sure you all are aware, into Nepal, it has been it's had a devastating impact on the people of Nepal. In particular, with regard to mushrooms, I want to talk about a situation that we're hoping to try to ameliorate. There are always some mushroom poisonings in Nepal, as there are in other parts of the globe. But this year in particular, because of COVID and the onset of the monsoon, you had a confluence of circumstances. People in the cities had to move back to their rural villages. There was no work, and this created an enormous amount of food insecurity in the rural parts of Nepal, which then drove inexperienced people into the forests looking for food, in particular edible mushrooms. As you can see from the screen, the mushroom on the left, Amanita japangiana, is an edible amanita, but as probably all of you recognize, it looks very similar in structure, color, and whatnot with well-known highly poisonous and deadly mushrooms. My organization, the Himalayan Climate and Science Institute, has been asked by Shiva to coordinate with various governmental agencies in Nepal and nonprofits to create an outreach education campaign to raise awareness among collectors and policymakers in the hopes of reducing the number of such tragedies. We have with us today Shiva Devkota from Pokhara, Nepal, and it's 4:56 a.m. in Nepal. So Shiva's ready to go with a little bit of a description of what's happening in his country. Shiva?
Hello, everybody. Thank you, Rick, and thank you, William. So good morning from Pokhara, Nepal, and good evening to you all out there. So as you can see, Amanita japangiana, named after one of the indigenous community Chepang, is edible and just looks like Amanita birosa and Amanita citrina to untrained eyes. I have asked my colleague Rick to help create a project helping people in my country to distinguish these mushrooms. I'm much more thankful to have thoughts on it and for his initiation. Next, please. So here you can see that people have been always gathering mushrooms in Nepal. But as Rick said, the problem is poisoning and poisoning. So we are reaching out to you for your support and ideas. Next, please. So these are some tragedies among many. So cases are really very serious. So let's work together for a betterment. And I'm highly thankful to the Mycological Association of Washington, D.C. in providing this platform to share scenarios from Nepal. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shiva. I think on the chat, there'll be a link to a fundraising website. It's called Fundraiser. So I'm going to urge people to please take a look at that and to donate. Just to let you know who's on our committee, I think it would be of interest. I've teamed up with Britt Bunyard from Fungi magazine, that of course people know Britt, who know his magazine, and the Telluride a mushroom festival that he has every year in August, and also Juliana Furky from Santiago, Chile, who is the founder of the Fungi Foundation. Juliana has been working in Chile for the last 18 years to create messaging for people in Chile to avoid this problem. So I feel we've got a really terrific group, and along with Shiva and people from the universities in Nepal, I hope to be able to create the kinds of things we're looking at. Frankly, we're going to create 30-second radio spots, which we know will penetrate into the rural communities. Computers are not as well populated, as well as creating 5-by-7-inch laminated placards, which will hopefully provide the kind of morphological distinctions that will allow collectors to be able to take with them into the forests. And that way they can more readily, if they're going to eat Amanita mushrooms, hopefully they can distinguish the differences. And there are differences, as we all know, once you start looking closely enough, as we all learn about what we do here at MAW. But anyway, I just again want to thank everybody for helping out if you can, and you'll have an opportunity. And if anybody would like to get involved in this effort, please don't hesitate to contact me. I would super appreciate all the help we can get. And thank you.